Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin today. Okay, so I think we might be going up to .236, and here is why. We have a nice little run up. This kind of looks like a bull flag in my opinion. We have this nice big run up, and then we have consolidation kind of bouncing in between these two areas. This little channel pattern. We have resistance, 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 support, support, and then we did break out of this resistance right here going to the upside. We haven't had like a clear breakout. I would like to see the volume candles come in and start getting bigger volume candles, but it does look pretty good. So what we do, so we have this big run up, and then we have consolidation basically. Once we break that resistance going to the upside, this a bull flag or a flag pattern is a continuation pattern. So most of the time, not always, but most of the time it's a continuation of moving to the upside or downside depending, because we also have bear flags, which are something like this where we are going down, and then we have consolidation, and then once we break the support, then we do the same thing. But with the flag patterns, we target from the bottom to the top of the pole, that little pole right there. So there's the pole and then there's the flag. So we target from the top to the bottom of that, drag that to the breakout, and then that gives us a target to look at. So we're looking at a target of around .236. If we can start breaking out right here, like I said, the volume's kind of low. We have declining volume, which is kind of a good sign with a pattern in general. We have big volume in this area, and then as we go down, the volume comes down. But what we want to see is the volume start to spike again and get some nice green candles from that. And then once we do, then we could get more confident on this target up here. But I think the fact that we broke the resistance going to the upside is a good sign. Let's see if we could keep this momentum going and push to the upside. If we come up to this target, then we will be breaking the top of this Fibonacci retracement box that we've been talking about. Let's see. So we have this big, huge run up that we got back in, what was it, like March, February? February. Yeah, so we had this big run up that started in February, and then we kind of started topping out over here and started coming down. Then we started forming this falling wedge pattern. We had the falling wedge, we broke out of that and started going to the upside. We hit the first target, hit the second target, and then came up and hit the third target the other day. Not perfectly, we didn't perfectly hit this target, but we got really close, like really close. So in my opinion, I think we did hit that target right here. So, but are we going to continue to move up, or do we need to cool off? And that's kind of one of the things I was talking about in not yesterday. I didn't do a video yesterday, but the last time we were watching a video, or I made the video, I was saying that we have the big run up. Let's watch the top and let's watch the bottom. And if we break this, I was thinking that if we break the red Fibonacci retracement level, we might be coming back down to here. But this is another thing that I started looking at. We had support, giving me this trend line going up like this. It looks like we came down, tested that support, bounce. We've been bouncing and getting support on it, getting support. Let's see if we can keep riding this trend line, going to the upside, and keep getting support on it and keep pushing to the upside. That's one thing. So we haven't broken this trend line quite yet. If we do break that trend line, then we can get more confident on coming back down to these other Fibonacci retracement levels. If we break that trend line going to the downside and start getting some big red candles, then I would say the next spot that I'd be looking at is the next Fibonacci retracement level going down at .174, and the 50% sitting at around .156. So basically, sorry, I was explaining the Fibonacci and then I got distracted, I got off topic. So we have this big, huge run up, and once we feel like we're topping out, then we can get the Fibonacci retracement tool, drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run, and then that gives us levels to watch as it kind of breaks up that big run as we go down. It's called a Fibonacci retracement tool, and this lets us gives us places where we can think that it's going to retrace down to. I like watching the 38 and the 50%, sometimes even the 61%, but I think the 50% is a good sweet spot in general. So whenever you're using those that Fibonacci retracement chart, we actually came all the way back. We actually from the top up here, we actually came all the way to the bottom where the trend started. And then once we hit that, then that's when we started to kind of bounce to the upside. So, so yeah, that's just like a quick breakdown of the Fibonacci retracement chart. But like I was saying in the last video, we're watching the top, the resistance, and then watching the bottom. If we break going to the upside, then that'll give me more confidence that we're going to go up and or come back down, come back up to that .22 target. Or if we break to the downside, if we break that bottom, something like that, then be more confident on going to the next Fibonacci retracement levels, going to the downside. And we also still, like, so let's say we did break this one going down, we still have a uptrend right here. Let's see, we have support, 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 giving me this uptrend. It's still possible, let's say we break this one going down, that we get support on this line that I just talked about, and we get a bounce out from there. But we haven't broken the uptrend yet, so it's still like we're still in this uptrend, which is a good thing for the price. So I'm kind of curious, like I was saying at the beginning, are we forming, or did we form a flag pattern, something like that? We got a nice big run up, and then we're getting consolidation, going to the downside a little bit. Can we target from the top to the bottom of this flag pattern, the potential flag pattern? Drag that to the breakout, and then that gives us that target of around .236. If we do that, like I was saying, we're going to be breaking out of the Fibonacci retracement box that we've been watching. We'll be breaking the previous resistance, this previous top right here, sitting at around, what is it, .2289. Let's go ahead and readjust this because this isn't perfect. Let's see, something like that. Something like that. That's more with aligns with the top. So the top is around .2289 approximately, or the previous top, should I say. Once we break out of this though, like let's say we break out of this Fibonacci retracement box, this is what I'm kind of waiting for. Is I want to see us break out of this, break the previous top over here like we did in Bitcoin. And then the next thing that we can do is let's go to the daily time frame, and we'll look at the previous resistances that we've had in the past. So we had a big resistance right here, a pretty decent one right here, and then one over here. So these are the next spots that I'd be looking at if we broke to the upside or broke out of that Fibonacci retracement box. Let me find the price labels. So if we go into this little section right here and then go to price label, we can do something like this. If we control and click and drag, then we can copy and paste it, something like that. So these are the levels that we could be potentially looking at. These are the next spots, let's say, that if we break out of this Fibonacci retracement box, these are the next spots that I'd be looking at to come up to. The first one is sitting at around .302, the second one is sitting at around .343, and the fourth one is sitting at around .427. I know it seems kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of skeptical on those targets, but I think once we break, like I said, if we break out of here, if we break this top, going to the upside, then those are the next spots that I'll be looking at. And if we take a look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's been kind of, I think we're at the all-time high on Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and look at that. Yeah, we're pushing to the upside on Bitcoin. So if, and it's, I've been talking about this pattern as well. And I'm kind of curious if this is what we're doing right now on this chart. Okay, so we have, I've been talking about this pattern for maybe a couple weeks now. We have this cup and handle pattern, something like that. We broke the resistance going to the upside. Once we do that, okay, so this is how cup and handle works. It's like a little cup, and then we have a channel pattern going to the downside. Once we break out of this channel, then we can target from the top to the bottom of the cup, and then we can drag this to the breakout, and that's the breakouts right at that where we break the channel, and then that gives us a target of around $123 or $123,000. So that's the target that I have now. And the thing that I've been talking about with this pattern is we needed to do three things. We needed to break this resistance right here, we had resistance, 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 support, 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 basically bouncing in this channel pattern, which is textbook cup and handle. But we needed to break this resistance first. Then we needed to break out of the Fibonacci retracement box because this was the previous top right here. Once we hit that top and started going to the downside, or it kind of seemed like we were cooling off, I did the Fibonacci retracement chart or the Fibonacci retracement tool from the bottom of the run to the top of the run, and then that gave me levels to watch. We came down, hit the 38% level. I got a limit order filled down here, and then we started pushing to the upside after that. I mean, it's been kind of up and down, so it wasn't like a perfect run, but we did come down, hit that 38% level. I got a limit order filled at that point because once we started topping out, then I started putting limit orders at these areas. I had one at the 50% too, but we didn't go down that far. So the three things that we had to do, we had to break this resistance. We did that. Then we had to break out of the top, the previous top, which was sitting right here, sitting at around 73,614. That was the previous top. We broke out of that. And then the other thing that I was saying that we needed to do is we have resistance, resistance, giving me this trend line. And it looks like we're breaking out of that right now as well. Right now, the price is sitting at around 76,314. All-time highs right here. So if you've ever bought Bitcoin, especially back in the day or anything, then congratulations, you're probably up on Bitcoin. And even in this area, too, well, in general, like everyone who's bought Bitcoin when we're at the all-time high is up right now. So I think we've done the three things that I was kind of talking about, the one, and then the two, and then the three. Those are the three places that I wanted to break out of before I got confident on this 122,000, 123,000 target. But I do think that we are breaking out pretty good right now. Let's see. Same with the Dogecoin chart. We have declining volume, kind of. I mean, there was a lot of volume in here and a lot of volume in here, but we have declining volume. What I want to see the price do is start getting some good volume, and then we could get really confident on 123,000 approximately. Let's see. That might be the next spot that we're going to, though. In my opinion, I think that's. I don't think that's super unlikely. You do have to be careful about buying at these highs though, because I mean, I've bought the top plenty of times. So hopefully you've been investing while we were kind of going up, or in general. I think in general with Bitcoin, I think the best strategy is just putting in like a 401k where you just kind of invest what you can over like every paycheck or something like that. I haven't actually been doing it lately because I've already kind of invested. I have an investment in Bitcoin in general, but I think that's kind of my main strategy is just putting it away, 25, 100 or whatever you can afford into Bitcoin every paycheck. And then it kind of dollar cost averages out. And as you kind of go make these runs, something like that, basically Bitcoin's been going up for a long time. I mean, ever since let me go to this chart. I started accumulating back here, and that's when I kind of started doing that strategy of just putting in 25, 20, 100 or whatever I could afford like starting from here, just dollar cost averaging the whole time. Dollar cost averaging, and now we're up here. So it kind of works out pretty good as long as like whatever you're investing in has like good sentiment and is going to the upside. Then dollar cost averaging is a good strategy in my opinion, because you're not playing with money that you can't afford to lose. You're kind of just putting away money. And the way I think of it is like I'm gonna be spending the money on something probably dumb or going out to eat or whatever. You're gonna have crap lying around. You're gonna have stuff lying around that you probably don't need or whatever. But instead, what you could do is just buy a little bit of Bitcoin every now and then, every paycheck or whatever. So yeah, I mean that's my strategy on Bitcoin. But yeah, so like I said, it looks like we're breaking the spots that we needed to break. Let's see what's happening right now. Are we kind of coming down? We really need to break out of that third one though. It looks like we're kind of testing it, and it looks like we're not having a little bit of trouble, but it looks like we are kind of chilling right on that level right now. What I want to see us do is actually break out of that. Then we can get more confident on that dot, or not dot, 123,000 approximately target. So yeah, and if Bitcoin's going up, then that's going to be good for all the other coins in general, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and take a look at Dogecoin to Bitcoin, because we've also been looking at this chart. So I'm on TradingView right now, tradingview.com. This is where I look at my charts. But I'm looking at Doge BTC. So this chart is basically, if this chart is going down, then Bitcoin is doing good. And if this chart is going up, then Dogecoin is doing good in comparison to each other. So we had resistance right here, support, support, support. We had this little pattern right here. We broke that right here. We broke that resistance going to the upside, and ever since then, Dogecoin has been outperforming Bitcoin in this area. Then we had another resistance. We had resistance, 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 giving me this trend line. We broke out of here, and every time we broke those lines, we had nice green candles. Came back down, got some support. We're also looking at this support line right here. Let's see, we have support, 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 giving me this trend line, something like this. As long as we can continue to ride on this uptrend, we might come back down and test it. It might come down, test it, and then hopefully we can stay above this trend line though. And if it does stay on above it and continue to go to the upside, that's good for Dogecoin. Once we break this going to the downside, then we can start getting more skeptical about Dogecoin, and the run might be kind of over, or we could be cooling off, or Bitcoin could be taking back control. But right now, ever since we broke out of this resistance right here, the first one that we were watching right here, that's when we started doing really good. So I recommend watching Doge to Bitcoin, or whatever coin it is compared to Bitcoin, to see how it's performing against Bitcoin. Another one that I've been looking at lately is Ethereum to Bitcoin. So Ethereum to Bitcoin has been getting wrecked for a while. So basically the same thing. This is ETH to BTC, or ETH BTC. So if this chart is going down, that's good for Bitcoin. If this chart starts popping, going to the upside, then that's going to be good for Ethereum. And Ethereum has been kind of getting wrecked for a while. I mean, it's been kind of going down. Now I'm on Ethereum chart. Let's go ahead and kind of zoom in over here. But Ethereum, let's go to the daily. Ethereum had been kind of going down. We were in this channel pattern. We had resistance, resistance, support, 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 support. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit better so you can see better. So we were basically in this channel pattern going to the downside, where we had resistance and then we had support, bouncing in between these two these two trend lines, and we actually broke out right here, and we got some volume behind it too. So what I would do is target from the bottom of the trend to the top of the trend. Let's see, maybe something like this, and then drag this to the breakout, and then that gives us a target of around 3,919. Let's see if it can go all the way up. But we also have a bunch of trend lines, a bunch of downtrends, should I say, because we have resistance, 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 and then we have resistance, resistance, giving me these two downtrends. We have this downtrend right here, and then we have this downtrend right here. So those places might give us some trouble when we come into contact with them, but those are the spots that I'm kind of looking at. I was also looking at, let's go ahead and just delete. Let's see if we have another Ethereum chart that's a little bit cleaner. I could always just go to a different let me just see real quick. Coinbase, let's go to Binance. Okay, so this chart's nice and clean. The other thing that I was kind of looking at is, so let's see, let's just do some technical and let's just start from scratch, because I haven't done that in a while on this channel. So we have resistance, 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 giving me that trend line, something like this, just so you can see how I do it from scratch. Okay, so we have that trend line, and then we have the bottom trend line. We broke out of that one going to the upside. We could at least get from the top to the bottom right here, drag this to the breakout, and we're looking at the first target of around 3,274. But then the other thing that I was telling you is we also had that downtrend, something like this. So we had that first target. Let's go ahead and put a target price label on there. Boom, something like that. And then we also broke out of this pattern though, drag from the top to the bottom of that, drag that to the breakout, something like this. Let's go ahead and put another price label on that. That'd be another target from this channel pattern. The first one is this little triangle pattern. The second one is this channel pattern. And then there's another one that I was kind of watching as well, because we basically, same thing with Dogecoin and Bitcoin, or Bitcoin, should I say. Bitcoin had a better one, but we have this big cup, and then we have a channel pattern after that. So what we'd want to do in that is find the tops, maybe something right here, something like that. You could also kind of argue something like that, but it's usually like a flat line on the cup pattern, so I would kind of be more conservative about it. Maybe do something like that. Drag from, it's kind of hard to tell where to drag from on the bottom over here, but maybe do something in the middle, drag from that. So we have our cup and handle pattern, then we get the target, or we drag from the top to the bottom of the cup, drag that to the breakout, and then that gives us another target right here. So we have the little triangle pattern target right here. We have the channel pattern by itself right here, and then we have the big cup and handle pattern target right here. So these are some of the next places that we could be heading on Ethereum. I have some Ethereum from back in the day, so yeah, I don't really trade Ethereum a lot, but this could be potentially something to be watching. And then especially if we go to the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, that's kind of where I got started on this. But so we're on the daily time frame right now. We had this falling channel pattern, something like that. So if this chart's going down, it's good for Bitcoin. If this chart starts going up, it's good for Ethereum. So we had resistance, support. Basically in that channel pattern, we broke the resistance right now, and we're starting to head up, and we got some volume. And this is when I talk about when I want to see us get some nice green volume candles. This is kind of what I'm talking about, where we had declining volume, we had really low volume. We had really low volume all in this area, and then we got these nice green candles pushing us to the upside. Excuse me. So this is a good sign. And this is a good sign. Like I said, if this chart is going down, it's good for Bitcoin. If this chart is going up, or if it starts going up, then it's good for Ethereum, and Ethereum might start popping. So yeah, we might be seeing a move in Ethereum pretty soon here. We do also have some other downtrends though that might give us some trouble once we run into them. We have resistance. This whole area right here is just giving us resistance, giving us this trend line right here. So it's possible that we get a nice little pop, and then we come into that resistance and get rejected and start heading down again. But if we do break that resistance as well, then that's going to be really good for Ethereum. We might be coming back up to this level, but basically, once we break these resistances in Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever you're looking at compared to Bitcoin, it's going to be a good thing for the coin. So like I said, if it's going down, it's good for Bitcoin. If it's going up, it's good for Ethereum. Once we break these resistance levels, that is a good sign for a potential trade. So right here, we're breaking that resistance. Let's say if we could come up and Ethereum could get a nice move. And then that kind of backs up our kind of our targets that we were looking at for this chart, for the Ethereum to US dollar chart. We have that triangle pattern, and then we have the channel pattern, and then we have the cup and handle pattern. Hopefully that makes sense, and we broke out of all three of them pretty much already. So yeah, we might be doing Ethereum might be doing pretty good soon. It already kind of has been lately, but compared to like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, I might be underperforming it. It'd be interesting to see a Ethereum to Dogecoin chart. But yeah, like I said, or like I've kind of mentioned in some of my videos, if you're new to trading, go to tradingview.com, sign up for an account, start your watch list. The cool thing about the watch list is I could come over here and see what's performing. I can look at these percentages and see what's kind of popping right now. Looks like Cardano is popping pretty good. Let's go to the daily time frame. We had resistance. We had resistance. We had this downtrend like that. We broke out of that one. And then we also had one right here. Resistance, giving me another trend line going like that. And we broke out of that one. So I mean, this little past run that we've been having on Cardano, that's around 34% in the past couple days. So that's looking good too if you hold Cardano. And then here's another example of spiking green volume candles that what I talk about on like what I want to see us do on Bitcoin. Once we finish a pattern, then I want to see candles like this. If just to let you, I mean, just kind of give you an idea of what it kind of looks like when we have the declining, or like when we have low volume, and then we get a big pop to the upside, or like volume candles, should I say. And to get the volume pattern, or if you're new to like trading view, you just go to indicators, search for volume, and then like if you search for it, do volume, and then find it. You can actually click stars on it, so that way when you just come in to the indicators, they'll be favorited for you. And these are the main ones that I use volume, RSI. I don't really look at the RSI very much, but sometimes I do, rarely, but sometimes. And then moving average, simple, and that's where we get the simple moving averages is where I get like the 9 moving average and the 180 moving average that I like to look at. I think that they actually went away. So yeah, Cardano looks pretty good though. But like I was saying, tradingview.com, you could set up your watch list, put a bunch of cryptos in there, put some stocks in there. I actually got into Tesla on Robinhood because this looks like it's actually pretty good too, possibly. Let me just show you Tesla, what's going on with Tesla right now. We had resistance, support, giving me kind of like a channel. It might have even been like not a channel, like a triangle pattern, or even maybe like a rising wedge. And we broke that rising wedge going to the upside. So what I would do in this instance is target from the top to the bottom of that pattern, drag this to the breakout, and that gives me a target of around 345 approximately. I don't know where did I get this one from. Maybe I was targeting from the top to the bottom over here. Drag this to the breakout, maybe 355 approximately. But I feel like we are breaking out on Tesla as well. So that's one of the things this is one of the stocks that I'm looking at right now. Let's see, but Dogecoin, let's go back to Dogecoin, what I mainly talk about on this channel. I'm basically waiting for that volume to come in like we saw in those other charts. Like I said, we had a nice little run, getting consolidation, broke to the upside. I want to see us get a nice breakout and start really heading up. And the next target that I'll be looking at is sitting at around 23687. Once we come up here, then maybe we'll have to cool down and maybe retest that trend line and then start heading back up. But I do think if we can break out of this top right here, then the next spots that we'd be looking at are these ones, the next or the previous resistances that we had in the past. Those are the spots that I'll be looking at next. If we could clearly break out of this Fibonacci retracement box, it kind of seems like we're on track to do that, but let's kind of wait and see. If we break this trend line right here going to the downside, then it might take some more time, or we might be coming back to the previous Fibonacci retracement levels. The first one is sitting at 0.174. The second one is sitting at 0.156 approximately. So yeah, let's see if it can continue to ride this going to the upside, and if we could get a nice little breakout going up, then we can start shooting for this level, and then we can kind of see what happens after that. Let's see what else is there. I talked about Bitcoin, I talked about Doge to Bitcoin, talked about Dogecoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Tesla even. I think we covered a lot in this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up. And if you want to watch the last video, check it out right here. And if you're new to trading, check out this playlist right here. It'll help get you started on TradingView. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up.